Good afternoon, and welcome to today's special service. It is a special day. It's Palm Sunday. Now, I don't know what your experience of Palm Sunday has been, but for me, of course, over the years since my retirement, it's changed somewhat. I live out in the wilderness, not wilderness, it's out in the area where there's not a Unity church near me. And, but I wish to share my Unity message for Palm Sunday, and there you are. So my congregation for the wonderful Unity Palm Sunday message is unlimited. So I am very, very grateful for you joining me today. I keep trying to arrange my little background here so that it can show off my daffodils. Yeah, we're finally getting some daffodils. Let's see. Ooh, I gotta get them closer. There we are. I wanted you to see those. And so I'm delighted that you're here with me today in the, it's about as festive as I can get. But together we are going to have a Palm Sunday journey that I pray will bless you as much as it blesses me. And just you watching blesses me. Because when you got something you want to share and you got somebody to share with, you know what? Just doesn't get any better than that. So we're going to have, first of all, a little meditation, and then we'll have a little message to go with the meditation. And our theme today is Jerusalem and the triumphal entry of Jesus. I'm going to invite you to relax. I don't know what was going on for you today or what you're still waiting for, but let it all go. Let's come to that wonderful place of peace, harmony, and silence. Yes, I do wish I could have some music in the background, but unfortunately we still haven't crossed that line of what we can use without damaging copyright. But let's just know that the music is in our soul. So I'm going to invite you to take 3 deep cleansing breaths. That means breathe in slowly to the count of 4. Hold to the count of 4. Release to the count of 4. And hold to the count of 4. I'm going to let you do that on your time as I do it on mine. So relax into it and begin some deep cleansing breaths. And let that just gently sweep away those cobwebs in the back of our mind where we're going to settle in and enjoy a meditation together. I invite you to close your eyes. You don't have to, but it'll help in this guided meditation. I don't commonly use guided meditations, but I was guided to use this one that I wrote especially for today. Relax, close your eyes, and come along with me to a trip to Jerusalem. For a moment, I invite you to see a mist, like a fog. It's coming toward you and surrounds you. It enfolds you. It is not a cold mist, but a warm, restful place of consciousness. The mist becomes thicker until you can see nothing else. In the mist, you are completely relaxed. Peace. Peace, be still. And then the mist begins to diminish as you find yourself in the past, not your past, in Jerusalem, 33 AD. The city is buzzing with activity and excitement as families prepare to celebrate the Passover. People from many miles away have come to be in the holy city to celebrate at the temple. There are many sounds and sights and smells. There are street vendors, children playing. There are camels and donkeys, small groups of sheep and goats. You can smell the earthy, hay-infused fragrance and hear the bleating and the hawing as the goats are herded through the crowd. The herder whistles to align the animals. In this buzz of activity, women walk with baskets on their hip and some on their heads, carrying the purchases they have made. Some men have gathered around the temple. They talk and pray. The roads are dusty, but the sun is warm. The sky is crystal blue. There is a gentle breeze that carries with it a variety of fragrances. Smell the unleavened bread being baked for the festival. Sweet spring blossoms. Incense wafting from the temple. Suddenly, the people begin to murmur. Excitement spreads among the people. They look off to a sloping hillside in the east. They point to a group of people approaching. One is riding a young donkey. Some people put their coats on the ground for the donkey to walk on. Others cut palms from nearby trees to spread them on the ground. This is what is done for royalty, that their feet should not touch the dirty earth. The excitement builds. The people that approach closer. going to cross right in front of you. Your heart beats faster. The people are beginning to shout, Hosanna! Blessed is the one who comes in the name of the Lord. They're almost in front of you now. They're here. You look up, right into the eyes of Jesus. See the love, the unconditional love. Feel the love. It lingers as he passes and moves on. And the mist again begins to enfold you. It gets thicker and thicker. But you feel the love and peace. It stays. The joy of your soul in looking to the eyes of the one who loves unconditionally and teaches truth and peace and promises us the good news that God is there, the gospel of love and peace and hope and joy. And now the mist begins to clear. You are back in the present, comfortable in your own chair. Again, breathe deeply. Feel refreshed, energized, peaceful, and filled with love. Notice the feeling is still there. That moment your eyes met is still there, and it's there whenever you want to return. Breathe and release, and join me. I don't know how that was for you, but it sure was good for me. That feeling, that desire to have our eyes meet the eyes of Jesus. At one point in my life, I was following, and I still like the teachings of Edgar Cayce. At this time, I belonged to meetings. I went to meetings of the Association for Research and Enlightenment. And they harmonize with the teachings, actually, of all world religions. If we stop looking for differences and start looking for similarities. And one night at a meeting, they gave us each a piece of paper and did a meditation not unlike this one. And in the meditation, we were invited to write a letter. But it wasn't a letter to Jesus. It was a letter from Jesus to us. That followed a deep meditation like we just did. You can always go back to the beginning of this video, watch the meditation again, and write yourself that precious letter from Jesus. Our mind is one. We are connected with the all-knowing mind of God. Why would we limit the possibility of Jesus speaking to us within our own heart and soul? It's worth the thought, is it not? So I want to take you now back to the days of my childhood and early adulthood. Actually, by the time I found unity, I was already 40, and I followed a very traditional Catholic past, which I am not going to knock because I gleaned a lot from it. Now, Palm Sunday was a very exciting day, and the church was crowded. It always was crowded on Palm Sunday in those days, 40 years ago, 45 years ago. And we went because we loved getting our palms. Now, my sister, who goes to the Catholic Church, got me this palm today. I want it for a number of reasons. The first thing is, in our tradition, we would take a piece of the palm frond and we would cut it and split it in two. And the two sizes we would cut, one about that big and one a little larger. We would cut a slit in one of them, the long one, and slide the short one through it, which made a cross, a palm cross. We would pin that palm cross to our clothing, and we would change it every day, so that every day during Holy Week, we wore our Palm Sunday palms. Now, the rest of the palms we would take, which I do yet, and either fold it or keep it straight and tack it over our entry to our home. And in this way, we welcomed other people as we behold the Christ in you. We would see each person that entered our home blessed and recognize the divinity within them. You know, traditions can be so wonderful. Let's go back for a minute to our meditation experience and the thought of being there, of being in Jerusalem at this amazing time when Jesus came. You know, they all had to go. That was required of their faith. They had to go to the temple once a year, and most went at Passover to celebrate. It was called a mitzvah, or a requirement, a law of their faith. What were they celebrating? Passover. Now, not everybody was thrilled, as were the everyday people in the streets, waving their hands and their palms and throwing down palms for Jesus to walk on and all that stuff. Who was upset? The hierarchy that feared Jesus' power. After all, they called him the King of the Jews. Wait a minute, they said. That's not a part of our hierarchy. Now, you know that it wasn't only, you know, the upper people and where they lived. It was all of the religious heads. They were like, oh no, this is not good, because he's teaching a very strange teaching. His message is one that is not necessarily in alignment with what we teach. Actually, it is. You see, in unity, we say that Moses brought the letter of the law, and Jesus brought the heart of the law. That Moses brought the what, and Jesus brought the why. Now, if you go into the basic 10 commandments and you look at them, and if you look at it as a faith being imposed on you or forced on you, you're missing the point. If you're looking at what Jesus taught, bringing the why, the understanding, then it comes from you, because you already know the truth. The truth is already within you. You just have to, we bring it out through prayer, through meditation, through studying the teachings that we so love and treasure. And in unity, we look at the metaphysical, the unseen spiritual principles behind what has manifested. Now, if we look at the Passover a little bit, the people were celebrating, first of all, let's use the word Passover, the escape of the people from slavery in Egypt. They were coming out, and what happened before that? So that Pharaoh would let them go. There was this horrible curse that was come through, that God sent this plague. And what did they do? They had to kill an unblemished lamb as a sacrifice. The word sacrifice means to make holy. And they took that blood and they put it on their doorways and lintels above the doorway. And that was supposedly, that let God know when this plague ran through, that that was the house of someone you would not destroy. Everything else was destroyed. And so they were looking at that moment for God to come in and do it for them and get them out of there. And then these many years later, when Jesus came, they eventually looked for Jesus to come and get them out of there. And today, many people are waiting for Jesus to come back and get us out of here. That is the foundation of many faiths, and it's a part of Christian tradition. And in my belief and in my teaching, we look at it a little differently. And I'm going to invite you to look at it that way today, not in a way that threatens, because each one of us has, again, the truth and our level, where we're at, where we're receiving it. Even Charles Fillmore, the co-founder of Unity, said that, he said, I reserve the right to change my mind according to my ever-unfolding consciousness. And what I see in what was happening is that Jesus came to teach us not to take our sins on him and die for any sins we might commit, but I look at it the possibility that, you know how they say, there but for the grace of God goes I? What if it is there for our sins Jesus died? Oh my God, did he die because I did something? No. See, in Unity we teach that sin is an error. It's missing the mark. It's not understanding and comprehending. And many people did not understand. They wanted Jesus to come and save them. They didn't understand Jesus was teaching us how to save ourselves and all that we are as a whole. Now, back in the 70s, the rock opera, maybe it was the 60s, late 60s, 70s, I don't remember when, the rock opera Jesus Christ Superstar came out. And it was immediately banned. I think I talked about that in one of my other videos. You were not supposed to go. And we went. My parents, I went with my parents and my father's business partner. And that was one of the big ahas that unlocked Jesus' teaching in my heart. It was, you know, so amazing, and I really came to understand a deeper level of what Jesus was teaching. And one thing that really came to me, if you have not seen it, I heartily recommend. You can find all kinds of versions of it on TV, I'm sure, with you know, with all these, what do they call them, streaming services and everything. But at one point, the people were singing, and they were saying things of along the lines of, heal my feet, I can hardly walk. Heal my mouth, I can hardly speak. Heal my ears, I can hardly hear. And Jesus turns around and he goes, heal yourself. Now, in the theater, there was silence. People aren't used to seeing Jesus angry. But it's a thought. And I imagine the frustration of trying to teach people, to open people's hearts to this answer to every problem we've got. Yet, today, we still struggle. Are we afraid to go to Jerusalem? The disciples told Jesus, don't go. They want you dead. Don't go. He told them, can't you see? This is what I have to do. Now, did he know every step and what that was going to be? I don't know. But I do believe he knew the ultimate outcome. We want a painless path, don't we? We want to take an aspirin the minute we feel the threat of a headache. We want to feel our heart, when somebody breaks our heart, we want the pain to go away. We'll do whatever we can. Very often, somewhere in a relationship, the relationship goes bad. What do? Grab another relationship as soon as they can. No! That's not the way to be healed. We heal ourselves. That old chestnut about, if you fall off a horse, you got to get right back on it. And I don't see that as true. When you fall off a horse, you must be healed before you move on. The path that Jesus took to Jerusalem was a path that was taking him through a dark night of the soul of pain and suffering. But he knew and had faith in the outcome. So if we want to be all we can be and do all we can do and elevate our spirit higher and be each one of us a light for God, we must be willing to accept that it's not all going to be painless. It's just the way it is. Sometimes it's painful to say, I'm sorry. Ooh. Sometimes it's painful to forgive. It's painful to admit to ourselves we can't do something or we made a mistake. See, pain is not a sign that God has deserted us. It's a symptom that it is time for us to do something to address the pain. I do not doubt, because you are watching this at this moment, I do not doubt that you feel pain and suffering at what is happening in the Ukraine. Right before I did the video, I'd had the TV on in the background, and there was a show on, and they said 80% of the people in Russia support what is going on because they're being told a solid stream of propaganda about what is actually happening. And that's kind of the thing we're dealing with more than anything else, is truth. And until we know the truth, we cannot be free. And until we all know the truth, we cannot, even one of us, be totally free. Why? Because we're all one. We're all part of a greater whole. Some people see Jesus as the great exception, that he did something that none of us are capable of doing. He's the Son of God, for God's sake. But what about his teaching? What about when he said, these things I do, and even greater things shall you do, if you believe on me? Look, I'm showing you, and I'm doing it. He walked his talk. Are we walking our talk? Are we willing to walk our talk even if it takes us through the dark night of pain and suffering? I think it does. It's some of those painful moments in my life that I learned my greatest lessons. That doesn't mean we're supposed to look for pain and suffering. And it doesn't mean if we're having pain and suffering, we're doing something wrong. Maybe it's just a way to learn. Mother Teresa tells a story about how a woman was in pain, and, you know, she took care of the people of the lower caste. They were below everybody. They had a caste system in India, which they still have. But the lowest of the low, and she would care for them, and a woman was in pain, and she was trying to comfort her. And Mother Teresa said, oh, Jesus is just, the pain is just Jesus just kissing you. And she said, Mother, please ask Jesus to stop kissing me. Nobody wants us to be in pain. But if pain is a tool for us to come to a higher place in consciousness, if we are willing to take the risks, and here's the big thing. You know what? Oh, goodness, his name just blanked on me. I can see him in front of me. He lived in Mark Twain. Thank you very much. Samuel Clemens, Mark Twain. He said the greatest tragedies in his life never happened. Sometimes we're afraid of pain, so we don't do something that once we do it, we find out it wasn't that bad. But we want to be willing to risk. Are you willing to risk in the name of all that you believe? I try to do that every day. Sometimes I make it. Sometimes I don't. The Bible tells us that we are in a time of tribulation. If you read Timothy, the letters of Timothy, it will probably scare the daylights out of you, because you're going to read it. And some of those passages, you're going to say, that's now. That's what's happening now. It says that it's a time when truth are seen as lies, and lies are seen as truth. When evil is seen as good, and good is seen as evil, and nobody can straighten it out. But you can. And it doesn't matter if every single person you know is telling you different. If you stay grounded in what you know, well, what do you know? You know inside of you, truth feels right and perfect. You know that. And you know darn well when you're doing something that's out of integrity with all that you're meant to be. You know that too. We have to be willing to surrender to something higher than ourselves. We have to be willing to risk. And as it says in Scripture, this is not even about the weapons of humankind. And that's what we're doing right now. We're sending weapons to try to stop war. Well, at the moment, it's that or be overtaken. And I have to tell you that one of the people that I see, that I believe is doing the right thing, despite what anyone may think, I think it is President Zelensky. He's standing on his truth. He's being honest. He is in there. I mean, normally, you know, when there's a war going on, they take all the important people and they scoop them away. They put them where it's safe. He wants to be with his people. It doesn't matter what's going on. He wants to be with them. He wants to help them, and he wants to work for the highest good. Each one of us should strive to work for the highest good. Now, it's not ours to go to the Ukraine and try to fix everything. Although some people, one man, my heart was so touched, he's a veterinarian, and he went to take care of the animals that got left behind and try to help them find their owners, reunite them and everything, which I think is a very spiritual task. So we can do things for the Ukraine. We can send money, we can send supplies, we can send whatever we can, okay? War never brings peace. So this is a lie that we continue to live, okay? We continue to live a lot of lies. We continue to live. You can get right back on the horse. But if you've got a joint out in your hip, or if you've got a broken leg, getting right back on that horse isn't going to help you at all. So what are you going to do? Get grounded in who you are. You are a child of God. You have within you a spark of divinity that is called the Christ. And that doesn't mean that you get to sit on a fluffy cushion and pray all the time. It means that you are take the light within you and put it on a lampstand and let your light shine in the world. It means that you want to be willing to go into Jerusalem at a time when other people are saying, why are you doing that? Why are you doing it the hard way? Why are you speaking out and you're risking rejection of people because you're speaking your truth? That doesn't mean you got to be a holy roly up there, holier than thou, trying to bang everybody into believing the way you believe. What it means is being a light, speaking your truth with love, and doing what you are guided to do. One of my favorite prayers I invite you to embrace and use is, where would you have me go? What would you have me do? What would you have me say? I say that every day. And therefore, what I do and where I go and what I say, I truly believe is the right thing, because I believe that God said, ask and you shall receive. So what I'm receiving is what I asked for. As we go through Holy Week, I invite you to think on these things, to imagine Jerusalem. And Good Friday, I will be posting a meditation. It's like a little slide presentation. It's a metaphysical and traditional explanation of Good Friday. And then Easter, I think I'd like to try to do another message for my precious cyber congregation. For today, I want you to remember that you are a child of God, that Jesus told you you have within you everything you need. He told us the kingdom is within, okay? So go and, as they say, go in peace to love and serve the Lord and your brothers and sisters, because we're all one. God bless you.